All right, welcome to the first postseason NBA reaction show. This is Money Magnum. If you could hit the like and subscribe, if you guys are live with me now, hit the like and subscribe. I definitely welcome you guys. You guys could be watching any other platform, but I'm glad you guys are willing to take your time and your eyes and your ears with me. We are going to be discussing, obviously, the post game of the finals, game one, Knicks and San Antonio, where the Knicks beat the San Antonio Spurs 105-95, and Jalen Brunson comes through again. I mean, the Knicks now have won I think 12 straight uh playoff games and 7 straight road playoff games, and it's just been an amazing run by the Knicks. I actually was dead wrong on my prediction that the Spurs were going to come out and win this game, and it looked like the Spurs, they had a 14-point lead moments into the third quarter, and then when Victor Wembanyama went out in that third quarter, the Knicks went on a run. They only had one turnover in that second half, and as a result, they finish the game on a 9-0 run. Jalen Brunson hitting a key three to put him in the lead, and then hit a nice mid-range jumper to keep that lead at a certain arm's distance, and the Knicks pull away, winning that game by 10. But we're going to be discussing, quarter by quarter, how things went. A lot of bad shooting in this game, just some terrible shooting in this game. Overall, the Spurs, for example, just 36% from the field, only 11 from 43 from 3-point land. They did hit 20 of the 25 free throws. The Knicks only shot 41%, 39 of 94. And then from three, they were only 11 from 36. So it was some pretty bad shooting in this game. The Knicks actually came out comfortable. I actually thought that they were going to come out a little rusty, but instead, they looked pretty comfortable from the moment. First play of the game, a play for Brunson, hits a 3-point shot. I thought they got comfortable right away. I kind of knew that they were in it from the beginning, and Wemby comes back and also hits a shot of his own. So the two superstars in this game hit their jumpers to start the game. But then the Knicks got off to a little bit of a lead, and then what had happened after that was the Spurs finally got comfortable with the game. They were just missing too many shots. They found themselves back in the ball game. They were chipping away. They did end up taking the lead in that first quarter, 27-19, and they actually went on a 20-3 run to end that quarter. Dylan Harper had a really good game today. Today in the first quarter, he had 10 points, and he finished the game with 28 minutes. They finished the game with 16 points in the game. So I thought that he had a hell of a game. He gave him a little bit of a spark off the bench. I guess the guy that I think, really disappointed the Spurs today was De'Aaron Fox. He looked terrible today. He was 0 for 4 from 3, only had 7 points, 3 from 13 from the field. And I think that De'Aaron Fox just let the Spurs down today. There was a shot close to a minute to go that could have kept the Spurs back in the ball game, and he missed that. He missed a good look, and I thought that the Spurs were done. And after that, but the Spurs were favored today by 4.5. Like I mentioned earlier today in a short, I was dead wrong today on that. And the Knicks take a 1-0 lead in this series, stealing a game in San Antonio. Tell me what you think. The Knicks definitely bear down on defense. There was some adjustments to be made. Victor Wembanyama today, 38 minutes, 26 points, 2 of 9 of 3, 6 of 21 from the field. It was just a poor shooting night by both teams. And I thought that there was some great defense being played in that game. But just too many turnovers by the Spurs as opposed to the Knicks. The Knicks only turned over the ball one time in that second half, And I think that that made all the difference. They actually outscored the San Antonio Spurs by 17. Actually, yeah, they outscored them by 10 in the fourth, and then by 7 in the third. They outscored them by 17 in the second half, and that was the difference in the game because the Spurs were actually up by 14 at one point in the third quarter. And I thought the biggest factor in the game in that was the moment that Victor Wembanyama was subbed out in that third quarter with about seven or so change into the game. And that's when the Knicks went on the run. It looked like the lane was clearly wide open for them to make a couple of layups. And you could see the difference. There's going to be some adjustments that are going to need to be made by the San Antonio Spurs in game two. I think they're going to end up being a split going back to New York. Now, the Knicks, you know, I thought that they played this pretty good. I mean, Jalen Brunson, like I said, I mean, you can't really tell exactly what was, what the feel of the game. You could tell they were just feeling it out. It was a good defensive game. And, you know, it was just tough. I mean, it was just some poor shooting night. Shout out to Betamax out there. If you haven't seen his podcast, he's got a podcast, a weekly podcast every Monday, and it's Beat the Best podcast. I definitely recommend that you check it out. But it was a good game, just some poor shooting. I thought there was some key moments in the game that the Spurs could have made some adjustments there. But I thought New York did exactly what it needed to do. It needed to be physical with Victor Wembanyama in the game. There's going to be some adjustments. We're not going to see the same poor shooting performance, by the Spurs. I thought that, kind of the young guys kind of a little bit excited. Champagne were 5 for 10 from three. Everybody else, like I said, Victor Wembanyama 2 for 9. De'Aaron Fox is just terrible. 0 for 4. He was just horrible. Darren Vassell 1 for 6. Stephon Castle 1 for 5. We're definitely not going to get, that type of shooting night by the Spurs. The bench didn't really do as much at all, other than Dylan Harper 16. Keldon Johnson was just in foul trouble all game. He only contributed with 3 points. So, I mean, but if you take a look at the Knicks, for example, Karl Anthony Towns, especially in that third quarter, in that second half, looked really good. He prevented himself from being out of foul trouble. He chipped in with 18 and 12. I thought that was an effective game. You didn't need him to go crazy. I mean, OG Anunoby with 17, I think he's going to be the biggest X factor in the game. But Brunson, once again, was clutch. When the Spurs went on that 9-0 run and took the lead 95-94, and Brunson, tipped over a ball, I believe, to Bridges, keeping the play alive and hit that key 3 to take the lead by 1. I thought that was massive. And then he basically closed the game on that midi. I mean, Brunson, once again, is clutch. And I'll tell you what, though, the Knicks end up winning the series. I mean, he's likely to be the MVP. But I'll tell you what, though, big body Brunson just showed up today. There were times where he was just shooting horribly in the game. I mean, he did chip in with 30 points. He only went 12 of 31. It wasn't a great shooting night for him either. He only went 2 for 9 from 3. After hitting the very first shot in the game, he basically missed his next 7 shots. So I thought, maybe he was going to have a little bit of difficulty maybe getting back into like I said, the third quarter dominated, the whole second half dominated by the Knicks. Where Brunson, I think, in the fourth quarter when you need him, and that's the formula for the Knicks, keep it close until Brunson could take you home. And I thought their bench, I thought the Knicks bench was pretty much effective and played right with it. Landry Shamet, 13 points were huge. Alvarado chipped in with 7. Miles McBride hit 2 3-pointers, including that crazy bang shot 3-pointer from the corner. That was pretty interesting, but the Knicks played right with them. I mean, Mitchell Robinson ended up playing despite the broken pinky. He only contributed 2 points, but I thought what he did, defensively was huge. But I think that for the Spurs, when Victor Wembanyama is impactful defensively, you see the difference in the game. They have to manage his minutes and what the Spurs need to be able to make adjustments when he is out the game, because you could see the runs were coming as soon as Victor Wembanyama was out of the game. That's when the Knicks, excuse me, managed to make their run and managed to obviously get in the paint and get the high percentage shots that they needed to get back in the game. And I thought that was the difference in the game. The minutes that Victor Wembanyama was out of the game, the Knicks took full advantage of getting back in the game when they were down by 14. And that was a huge part of the game in the third quarter. He leaves, he is subbed out at around the 8 or 7 minute mark of the game. Cornette comes in the game for him. That is the easy switch that you're going to see throughout the finals. And then the Knicks end up taking over and cutting that lead. They go on a 7-0 run. They cut the lead to 6, and then they continue that run, and they end up catching to them, and then they end up finishing that third quarter 86-86. So they were tied going into that fourth quarter. But definitely the Spurs are going to have to make that adjustment in managing Victor's minutes in order for them to find a way, because the Knicks are going to make their runs as soon as, because Wemby is so impactful as far as the defensive end, and he is the reigning defensive player of the year. I mean, you can see when he is in the game, he clogs up the paint. They don't take any shots inside the paint. They quickly do a U-turn and they're passing the ball out. So you could see the sheer presence of Wemby bothers the Knicks, and that's going to be a factor throughout the playoffs, throughout the finals. And what's going to have to happen is the Spurs are going to have to make adjustments when he is out of the game. How are they going to be able to defend the Knicks when Wemby is on the bench and getting his minutes, of rest? So, I mean, like I said, I think we're going to see a better shooting night in game 2. Just tell me what you think. Hopefully we can get some more people on here. So far, it's just Betamax. Shout out to Betamax out there. Definitely, spending some time with me there. Wanted to give this a shot. I'm a little under the weather. If you got to see, it was funny though, because yesterday I was watching a show and there was another host of a cable news show, and she was like totally like feeling worse than I'm feeling. I'm a little under the weather, just feeling how, and she stuck it out for the whole show. But like I said, just tell me what you think in the comments. Are you guys rooting for the Knicks? Are you guys rooting for the Spurs? I have the Spurs in 6, but like I said before, the Knicks are a very formidable opponent for the Spurs. Like I said, the Spurs are going through their young phase. They do not have any experience, any legitimate playoff experience other than Barnes and Fox. And, like I said, so they're going to go through some growing pains here. I think that they have more talent. The Knicks, I think, have more grit. They can get physical with you, and they, I think, have the player that to me is more clutch than anybody else amongst all the players in the NBA Finals, and that is Jalen Brunson. So, like I said, Brunson, like I said, just carries the Knicks. And that's basically been their formula. If you can get, decent performances, for example, Karl Anthony Towns, Josh Hart. Josh Hart only had 3 points, for example, 1 for 5, couldn't hit a 3-point shot, 0 for 3 today, but he chipped in with 15 rebounds and 6 assists. And this is what the Knicks are good at. Bridges only had 9 points, 3 of 6, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He didn't really attempt a 3-point shot. So, That also, I mean, like I said, I mean, the first one to 100 definitely won today. I think things are going to open up in game two. I think the Spurs will make some adjustments, and I believe Victor Wembanyama is going to have a better game. I think it was just a matter of just feeling the Knicks out, and the Knicks have had the Spurs number pretty much the entire season, from the NBA Cup that they beat them in the final in Vegas to the last matchup that they had against them where they blew them out. I believe it was on March 1st, where they blew them out by, I think, by 24. But hopefully we can get some more people in the chat. Like I said, hit the like and subscribe. We're going to try to do some more of these post-game finals reaction for the NBA finals. Game two, I'll see if I'm available. Game three, we'll definitely do a post-game. Obviously, they'll be playing at Madison Square Garden, and they'll be that the Garden will definitely be wild and packed, as well as the streets of New York. So a shout out to any Knicks fans out there. Just they've I think you guys, things are going to be wild, definitely at the Garden game three. So I'll definitely be doing a post game for definitely game three in that NBA finals. But let me know what you think. Hopefully we can get some more people on there. I know there are different platforms like Nightcap or Speakeasy, and then you got Kenny, Shaq, and Charles on Inside the NBA at the finals. They haven't done an NBA finals. I don't think that from what I remember, they've ever done an NBA finals for TM when they used to be at TNT, and that was way long time ago if they did. But you definitely, if you guys are enjoying them, that's cool. But if you have your phone and you could get a chance to be up here with me, it would be great. But I mean, like I said, other things in that game. I mean, like I said, other than that third quarter and that fourth quarter dominance by the Knicks, but I thought that, like I said, the Dylan Harper off the bench, I thought that this rookie, is going to definitely be a factor in the rest of the finals. I think Cornette's minutes are going to be huge when Wemby is out. What can he contribute? I thought he did well in the Oklahoma City series. And other than that, I mean, you got to get, Carter Bryant got to get better. Only had 4 minutes in the game. Kalen Johnson, who's the sixth man of the year, gave you 8 minutes, 3 points, was pretty much in foul trouble. I think you need a better game from him. And the two cards got it definitely. I mean, De'Aaron Fox, I mean, he was just awful today. Like I said, he was just awful. You got to get better. De'Aaron Fox, definitely, you got to get better. I mean, he, in my opinion, if I had to choose one player that let the team down, I think it was De'Aaron Fox. Vassell gave you some intangibles other than the poor shooting night that he had from 3-1 for 6. Him and Stephon Castle combined 2 for 11. That's not going to get it done. I don't think that's going to occur in game two. I think they're going to shoot the ball better. I think they're going to flow the ball better. And Champagny was the only one that actually looked good. 5 of 10, gave you 16 points. So, I mean, defense is definitely going to be played in this playoff. I could expect the scores to probably be around what we saw today, 105-95. I think the first one to 100 could be possible if it's a totally defensive game, but you just can't turn over the basketball, and the Knicks did not turn over the basketball. Like I said, they only had 1 turnover in the second half, and they were able to take advantage of Wemby being on the bench for the minutes that he did, and that's how they were able to dominate the paint with him on the bench. But like I said, game one goes to the Knicks. And now on the road, they have stolen a game in San Antonio. We'll see about game two. I'm still going to stick with the Spurs in game two. I think they're going to even up the series. I think by 4 games, I can see the series 2-2. So I think we'll see a split here and possibly a split in New York. I don't think anybody's just going to run away with this thing. I have the Spurs, like I said, in 6. So, I mean, like what happened with Oklahoma City last year, where they were just young against a Pacers team, which obviously hadn't been in the finals, and gave them all they have. But you saw that the Thunder eventually pulled it out last year. So for those reasons also, I think that the young talented Spurs are going to figure out a way, although the Knicks are obviously going to be more clutch and more formal. They're going to be more physical, and we'll see if that wears down the San Antonio Spurs going forward. So, well, just to wrap up really quick, I mean, I will try to get back to you for game 2, that post game, but obviously we will try to get another post game live out there. So if you didn't get a chance to see this one, hopefully I'll post it out there, and I'll see you either in game 2 or game 3, and I'll let you go from here. This is Money Magnum on the live post game. Like I said, this is my first time doing it, and I'll probably have some better material for you. But I just wanted to get that out there. Obviously under the weather and stuff like that. But I wanted to give my reaction of this 105-95 Knicks game 1 road victory. So I will definitely be seeing you on the next one. So.